Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. We're doing it, aren't we? Do you feel it? Do you feel the shift? Do you feel the strangeness going on, and then the manifesting in a very positive way happening very quickly? There's a lot of things happening that are sort of almost like the higher and lower frequencies sort of playing together. Now, this isn't like some theory of mine or anything, but I sense it because the veils are down. We're experiencing some weird shifts. Okay, I'll give you an example. I took out my computer. I fried the motherboard with a cup of coffee. Yeah, that was not real smart. I never get stuff close to my computer. But what happened is I had a cup, was moving, clipped the top of the computer screen, and it dumped the coffee on it, took everything out. Now, I'm in the middle of some serious course building, and of course, you know I do online marketing. Yes, I have backup computers, but that was the main computer. I did not freak out about it. I went, okay. Even if I didn't have the backup computers, I would have said, okay, how do I handle this? There was no reaction to that situation in a negative way other than, oh darn, it was sort of okay, it's inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world. So I decided, of course, the first thing you want to do is get that baby into Geek Squad. And I looked at it and thought, I'm going to see if I can bring this thing back. Listen, when you dump a cup of coffee on your keyboard, it's not coming back. I mean, I've tried that before. It's never worked. But I thought, you know what? It's not about me fixing that computer that exists right now that's fried. By the way, it took out the electrical and everything. It wouldn't even charge. So I knew it was bad. But I thought, there are reality shifts going on. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to shift my reality because tomorrow morning when I get up, I'm going to go to that computer, and I've envisioned it. Me walking out of the computer, the light's on, and it is like fully functional, and me clapping and laughing and being excited about it. I actually envisioned that. Next morning, went down, the light is on, and I opened it up. It's working perfectly fine, and I was clapping and laughing, but not surprised. Did the computer just come back? Possibly. Did I shift realities? Possibly. Do you really have to know anymore? Do you just have to know that whatever happened, even if it was the same reality, I wanted the computer to come back, but not in a desperate negative way. There was no negative emotions connected to that. So I'm going to address a very popular question. Uh-oh, I have to sneeze. Wow, that came on quick. All right, so I'm going to grab a Kleenex. Wow, you and I have become friends. I'm sneezing, I'm drinking coffee. All right, so what I want to address right now is the reactions of the things you want and don't want are determining what's happening with that. Because I get this is one of the top questions. You're telling us to not, refocus on something. It's like just to accept something and let it go. So we're not going, we're not manifesting it because we're accepting the negative situation and we're letting it go. That's not what's happening. Because your focus is attached to a negative feeling, whatever you want has a negative feeling behind it. It's I don't have it, I need it. And the more you focus on it, the more you're really needing it. When I say know that it is done and relax, you'll envision it. It'll show up. You'll know that the car's in your driveway, and it'll be fun to see how it shows up. You have to believe it, though, and a lot of you are not believing it. You're like, well, okay, it's been a month and it hasn't shown up. Because you never really had the faith in the first place. be okay. And the acceptance is I'm okay with whatever happens here because I know it is my best and highest good, and that if it's not that car, maybe it's something even better. Maybe I win a car instead of getting one. I win something else. You don't know what the universe will send you because you let go of the negativity around it. So a lot of you don't think you're negative. You are negative. If you can constantly have an issue with a certain thing in your life, relationships, money, jobs, there's a pattern there. You absolutely have an issue, a thought pattern, a belief behind it that contradicts what you want. So when I tell you, know that you want something and accept whatever situation you're in. Somebody said, well, if I accept a negative situation, then I'm sending the message to the universe that I'm okay with it. No. You're not fighting that again. So let's talk about either way. You want something and you're frustrated and you want it and you're trying to manifest, you try to get all these techniques. You're absolutely sending negative disbelief into the universe. I need it, I want it, I'm separate from it. So if I do this, that'll react. You are that. When we stop separating ourselves, we will realize the power that we have and everything flows to you. So I hope this makes sense. Think about this. If I do this, this will happen. We're thinking that this somehow is reacting to us. This is us. Now, if you saw my video, everything, the unseen, is you. Picture little eyeballs that react completely to you, not react as in, I feel this and it feels it. It is you. Right now, everything around me I am part of this quantum soup. It is reacting. And now I smile, it smiles. And when I'm sad, it's sad. And when I don't believe, it goes, nah. The brain's thinking, I want that. And I'm thinking, my beliefs is going, no. And it is too. It is too. So when I say, okay, I'm in this situation, I accept it without stress, without anger, without frustration. It's like, okay, I feel these feelings. So you're not really reacting, you're just experiencing. I feel these feelings. This is not a desirable place that I want to be. It goes neutral. It doesn't go anger, frustration, sadness. It's not thinking. Remember, it's not thinking. Sadness, don't want to be here. Fear. That's what it's reflecting everything. It's a mirror. It is you. When you say, okay, I'm here, I'm accepting, it's going, I'm at peace. You know what peace does? Peace opens gateways to manifesting. Peace is a gateway to a higher frequency. So when you go into peace and you accept the situation you're in as, okay, this is a learning experience. This too shall pass. What is it I do desire? Okay, I know that the probability of me earning 6 figures, if that's what you want, 6 figures exists right now. I choose that. I choose that right now. Who's that person that's making the 6 figures? Because right now, I'm not that person. I have to shift over to that probability. So right now, I'm acting like somebody who doesn't make 6 figures. I'm stressing, I'm worrying, I'm sending that message, and it is, in turn, reflecting everything that I'm thinking and not believing and believing, and all this other stuff. So acceptance is, you go in a neutral zone. I'm going to put it this way because I think that's the easiest way for you to think of it. So let's go to neutral. It's not good nor bad. So let's think about, so when you're stressing, it's going to bad. It's going to negative, negative, negative. So how can you get this up here? So let's say you go to neutral, you say, okay, I'm here. I'm here. So my next step is to change this. So what is it I desire? Well, I want to stop this cycle. I'm going to stop this cycle of being broke all the time. I'm going to go into the probability where I never was broke all the time. I knew how to make money. I attracted money. I believed I could attract money. And I always live an abundant life. And you say that, and you start to feel it a little bit. It's like, I actually am that person because you are that person. You're just you're hanging on to the crap we've been told for centuries. You're plugging into that collective consciousness, and when you accept things and you go into neutral zone, you're not focusing on the stress that I need it, I need to focus or else not going to show up. You know, we act like the universe doesn't know what we want. We are it. You know what you want, so it knows what you want. You don't have to think about it 500 times and keep asking for it. It's already done. But not if you're stressing and not believing and needing it and you keep going after it. That's the message, that you don't have it because you're not believing it exists now and that it's coming in, and you're not going, cool. So when I manifest all these things, I actually release it. I'm okay if it doesn't show up because I know that something great's going to happen anyways. And that if it doesn't show up, there's a darn good reason for it. Let's say my passport didn't show up and I ended up not going on that trip I'm going to be going on. Maybe the universe was saving my life from me being in a certain place at a certain time. Don't try to figure that out. Just know that it's exactly the way it should be. Accept that. And that's what I'm talking about when I say acceptance. It does not push away what you want. In fact, it puts you in the zone of changing the probability. So you go into neutral. Instead of being down here in the thing, being the person that's not getting it, you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again that keeps you in that negative place of not having what you want. We got to shift that whole gear, right? So we're going to shift into knowing your probability exists, and this is like I told you, it's been happening with me a couple of times, which is freaky because I've never experienced that before, a reality shift where something actually is completely different. It doesn't flow into our timeline, it actually shifts over. Something appears or something happens and you know that you are now in a new reality because that is real. That's quantum physics. You can actually shift into different realities. Why? Because everything is reacting completely to you. It is you. You're doing it. So let's say, so you may say, okay, then how do I get the thing? All right, so I'm totally accepting right now of everything. Everything. I know that I've done it up to this point. I've been in complete control. That's powerful. I've been in complete control, and I take responsibility right now. Thank you. Thank you for these lessons. Thank you for all the people in my life that challenged me, that put me in the worst possible situation so I knew that I had an opportunity to connect to what I really was, and that's something great and beautiful, forgiving and loving no matter what. So all of you blaming everybody and all your circumstances, this is the enlightened being, no matter what. You see the greatness in everything and everybody because everything and everybody that's on a lower frequency is suffering too, trying to find its way back to what it is, just like you. It is no different. How can you judge that? How can you blame that? Bless it. And then you raise your frequency and you start to accept things and you realize, wait a minute, I can accept this. I no longer have to be this. I'm going to shift into that probability. And that probability is a confident, very secure, joyful, abundant person who never has to keep clawing and scraping for money again. How would that person act? And this is where the physical world kicks in. And that is, I could use a really awesome idea or a person to come in my life that I can partner with, that we're going to do something great, or a job that shows up. Not you chasing it. If one more person asks me for money, honest to God, what am I, a bank? Really? Go to your bank and ask for money. And that's that lack. You need to give this to me so I can do this. You haven't done it so far. So any money I gave anybody would be lost again, and no gain of any kind would be brought to the surface. I mean, none. That's wanting to patch it from somebody else, wanting somebody else to patch your problems. They're not getting it. This is an issue that has to be addressed if it's going to be changed. And if you really desire it to be changed, you have to go into neutral. Start taking responsibility and say, okay, now I'm going to shift into that probability. That person acts different. That person isn't sitting here fretting about what it needs and whatever. And I say it as because we are energy. It's not begging and trying to figure out all these techniques to manifest, because it knows what it is. It's powerful. It knows when it wants the Tiffany bracelet. By the way, I wasn't thinking about the Tiffany bracelet. You know, it's like, it's just something I've wanted for a while because I'm so open and manifesting is happening so quickly. Stuff that you thought about years ago may start to show up because there's no such thing as time. It's like, oh, well, it took a few years. No, it didn't. It showed up. Now. It's always now. My feather earrings, my velvet tennis shoes, my expensive pen, my passport. What else? My computer coming back to life. I can go on and on and on. It's almost a daily occurrence. And so what's happening is we've got this other side coming in that's challenging us. And then we've got this ability to manifest everything immediately if we want to. And these two things are like the computer goes out, the next day it comes on. I'm focusing on that reality. I am okay with that challenge. The pen disappears. I'm okay with it. I'd like it, but I'm not stressing about it. I'm in a neutral zone. I accept it. I know it's going to show up someday. I know it's going to show up someday. I don't just accept it and say it's gone forever. I say, I know it'll show up someday, and I relax. Pen shows up. The passport, 4 to 6 weeks. I know it's going to show up in 7 days. I release it and I think. And I don't run to the mailbox every day. I just didn't even think about it. Went to the mailbox and it was there the next day. How is that happening? Because things are challenging. You're getting situations coming in right now. You guys getting a lot of them, right? You're feeling stuff, the shadow people, all these weird things, because the veils are down. We're seeing a lot of things. We're experiencing a lot of things. But the higher frequency, boom, neutralizes it, takes it out, changes it. You shift into the probability you want. The dead computer is alive the next day because I have the power now to manifest much quicker. You do too. Everybody does. It's happening. So you'll get some challenges because we're human beings and that's constantly going to be there. You stop stressing about it. You stop getting attached to the outcome and you realize that is a different reality and situation. I don't have to change that. I need to shift into something different. So accept that because I'm standing in this reality now. If I want to be in a different reality, I envision that and I'll shift into it. You don't even know what's happening. Because now you become that person. And then something happens, you realize, oh my gosh, it's reacting to me because it is me. I just created that. I just manifested that job offer or that opportunity to do something that'll change my life. You're doing it. You still have to take the action. You can't stay in that mindset of the broke person that says, I'm not good enough to have that job and I thought I was, but you know, I can't go there. And then you stay back into that reality here. Is this making sense? It's that being at peace with where you are, knowing that probability exists, choosing it, and starting to behave as though that is who and what you are, and accepting where you are, and not focus, I have to do, think of, that's staying in the I don't believe it zone. Does this make sense to you guys? Listen, I'll do 100 videos like this until it clicks. I realized at some point, and by the way, you'll get challenged. It's like, well, everything's going great, and all of a sudden, yeah, your computer's out. The very tool you need for your entire job is gone. Okay, I'm not dead. So, there are other computers out there. All right, maybe today I'll just do something a little bit different. Yeah, I've got my other computer. I'll get on and do some other things. And then you do it. And then you say, I'm going to shift into another reality where that computer comes back. And by the way, if it didn't come back, I would have been fine with that. There was something else that I was supposed to be doing, and that's the acceptance. I'm not getting what I want. That's the ego has to have something to be happy, and that is not manifesting. That is you repelling things. I didn't get it. I needed it to be happy because as the ego needs things outside of itself to be happy, I don't. Am I controlled by it to some extent? Heck yeah, you can bet when things go wrong. Oh, by the way, so something happened with my business that took it to a screeching halt for 4 days. Do you know what? I did not lose sleep. I did not panic. I didn't do anything. I said, it's a problem to be resolved. It was a test for me. That's that, lower frequency showing up, doing stuff. Great tests for me to say, okay, I'm gonna resolve this. And sure enough, I handled the problem, and within literally 2 hours, it reversed itself completely. Now, I reached out and got help. I took some action. I found out what the problem was. So, this is part of living your life, solving problems, getting inspiration. It's challenging you to go in new directions, not to just get what you want. It's challenging you to go find that job, to get that new education, to change how you think of the world, to give and participate in this world in a positive way, because the universe is pushing you to do that because you're wanting to be a higher being, a light being, and it's helping you to do that. So know that stuff's going on to challenge you. It doesn't mean you're not manifesting what you want. When you stay in that neutral zone and you accept and you shift over here and you know it's happening, start to take that action of that person who you are now, that person in that other reality. You have to become it because this person right now isn't doing it. It's not here. It's not happening. You've got to shift that thinking, that mind, that belief. You got to be okay with things and quit reacting. Your feelings are powerful. So you can all you want. If you're not believing it, that's the universe reacting to you. And it's looking at something in lower frequency. Don't have it. It's not going, oh, I want that. Okay, I'll give it to you. And the particles go in. No, it's not independent of you. It is you. All right, I hope this helped you. Please ask more questions because I know that this is a tough one. I'm giving this advice because it works for me. I'm living it. And I know when I'm in that zone that these things happen spontaneously. I also have recognized just this year that these are reality shifts versus me just manifesting things. They actually are shifts into somebody completely different on some occasions. I don't have all those answers, but I tell you what, you can actually shift and have something be now in a different reality that you weren't in a few minutes ago. It is possible. And you got to open your mind to that. If you're not and you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. You rule. You have free will. You rule your reality. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Miracles happen every day. Or maybe they're not miracles. They're just what we can do. And we don't recognize that. So we call them miracles because they don't happen frequently. I told you 2018, we're not going to do miracles. We're just going to manifest. We're just going to create. We're just going to bring into reality what we choose. And they'll appear like miracles, but they're going to happen so frequently, it's going to be our way of life. Namaste.